Welcome to day one of making over my garage, and because I know the internet is a judgment-free zone, I know that nobody's going to judge me for the state of my garage, because let's be honest, who doesn't just chuck stuff in their garage? Is anybody's actually really organized? So the first part of this garage makeover is obviously emptying it out, and I didn't film that, but I made my husband and children do it because it's good for them. And I am going to be doing this garage in phases because I have a lot of plans for this space, but the very first thing I'm going to tackle in here are the floors. Now, I could just pressure wash them and give them a good scrub and call it a day, but I can't do anything that's simple. I like to make my life harder and more difficult with needless projects, and so the first thing I'm doing in here is I'm prepping these floors for epoxy. Now, it probably would have made my life a little bit easier if I hired this out, but did you know that the price to have a professional come epoxy your floors is astronomical? So like any delusional DIYer out here on the internet, I've decided that I can totally do this on my own. So the concrete floors I just did in my house, I want those to be temporary. I really don't want these to be temporary, so I'm doing a lot more prep work on this concrete. So after sweeping out and then blowing out most of the big debris in this garage, I got to cleaning out the cracks in between the slabs. Now, I've literally never done this before, so obviously I had to use this like floor scraper thing to get it all out, because this is honestly probably 30 years worth of dust and grime and dirt and who knows what else was living down there, but it was kind of gross. Extremely satisfying, don't get me wrong, but also kind of gross, especially these little drainage channels that we have towards the front of our garage. Those were just like jam-packed. I had to really get in there. Yeah. Ugh. But I did get it done, and honestly I could have done like 5 more because it really was satisfying. But nothing, not even cleaning dirt out of channels, could be as satisfying as pressure washing. That is my favorite chore to do, and I don't do it very often. I should pressure wash more things, but is there really anything more satisfying than pressure washing? I mean, come on, look at all of this stuff just like melt away. It's like almost making brand new concrete, except for this concrete's pretty stained, but all this crap that's sitting on top, that comes off like butter, just with this little magic thing that can cut your toes off. Now, while the concrete is wet, I'm going to dump a bunch of muriatic acid on it to help etch the concrete, and I'm just putting it in one of these little like weed sprayer things that I got from Home Depot. Now, I could have rented like a concrete grinder and grinded the concrete down instead of doing this, but I'm doing it this way because it's a little bit easier, and I wanted to. Now, the trick with muriatic acid though when you're etching concrete is that you want it to go on wet concrete, and it kind of like bubbles up. So after it does that and you scrub it and you let it sit for a little bit, and then you rinse the concrete off, I squeegeed it out, and here's how the floor ended up looking. Tomorrow we're going to put the epoxy on, and I bet you can't guess the color of flakes I'm doing.